The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat postgame show.
He lose. Great second half, 40 points. I mean, whoo! Motherfucking barn burner. I mean, wow. Amazing. And then they had a chance to even still come back and win the game. You know, the refs did what they did. You see my name on the screen. But let's not talk about the refs too much because the Heat did not deserve to win this game. Okay? They had no business even being close. Like, this game it was not an 8-point win. That should have been about a 20-point loss to the Mavericks. If the Mavericks just hit any of their free throws, we wouldn't even be talking about the refs. You know, and I was gonna be calm, like it's not a big deal, because in the grander scheme of things, I don't think it's a big deal. But for God's sake, can someone help Jimmy Butler out in the second half?
Please.
Can any of the fucking role players show up? Bam,
Please.
You were killing these centers, killing every big man in the first half. What, you scored 2 points in the second half? Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, where was all aggressive Bam? Aggressive Bam. We love aggressive Bam. Did he leave that shit in the locker room? What the fuck happened?
Tell Jimmy to pass the ball.
Ain't no Jimmy. Listen, Jimmy, don't ever fucking pass the ball if the players are playing like that. Like, the only person who could generate any kind of fucking offense was Jimmy. Kyle Lowry disappeared. Bam disappeared. And they were the next two best players on the team. Mm-hmm. Where was Duncan? Where was Strus? Where was Gabe? Where was fucking Yurt? And listen, 11 points. I don't give a fuck. The defense was trash. Like, the entire team, nobody showed up outside of Jimmy and Bam in the first half, and then Jimmy in the second half. Take me out, Brass. That was a joke of an effort by the supporting cast, the role players, the bench. The bench was fucking awful. I mean, I'm talking, there's not a person that's going to escape criticism off of that game. Like I said, not a big deal in the grander scheme of things, but it was just a frustrating watch, especially after the first half.
It was annoying. It was annoying. I'm pissed off right now that I wasted like 2 hours. That. Yeah.
You go up by 11, and once again, you just fucking fall apart. And we've been counting on these third quarters where they fucking blitz teams, and shit just didn't happen tonight. I am Alphonse Sidney, a.k.a. Alf954. Welcome into the Miami Heat Beat postgame show, Hangover Time. Whatever, if you're watching on Twitch, thank you. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, I mean, thank you. I would have just gone and watched something. I would have taken my mind off a Heat basketball after the night. And you know what? We're not even going to fucking talk about what we're drinking. I'm having water. I see Bon got some coconut water.
Some water too.
Oh, well, Moose is getting drunk. It's Tuesday. I'm skipping all that shit. I want to know who kicked our ass.
They kicked our ass.
Moose, who kicked our ass?
Man, I'm in between two right now, but I'm going to go with, all right, who kicked our ass? Halftime. Because if the game would have ended there, it's a W. They look that fucking second half of the game, man, it felt like two different teams. I couldn't even believe that we were up in the first half with the way that we just like crumbled in the third quarter. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to halftime. Close second though, injuries. Can't speak enough about what we were missing on the bench. I know we'll talk about it later, but yeah, halftime kicked our ass. So take me out, Bress.
Correct. Moose would like to institute a new rule: if the Heat are up double digits at halftime,
just call it. Just call it.
Call the game. Call it.
I mean, it's fair.
I like it.
Everybody
Tiff,
wants to get home early. You know, it's a weeknight.
Tiff, who kicked our ass tonight?
League pass, because I'm paying for that bullshit.
Yeah.
Succinct. Brass, who kicked our ass tonight?
They're whites.
I mean, isn't that all they got?
Kinda. But yeah, I'm also just drinking a margarita, by the way. I mean, I have to drink after this. I can't believe you're not drinking after a loss.
You gotta drink something, yeah.
I was gonna go upstairs and get something. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time.
I got
Whatever.
you, Brass. Hit you one time.
It's a loss. It's been a while, guys. Like even the best teams have to lose every now and then. So let's just calm down.
We have more than a 5-game win streak.
I mean, yeah, we have a lot of 5-game win streaks, though. That's pretty cool.
Bon, who kicked our ass tonight?
I'm going to say Eric Spoelstra kicked our ass tonight. Love him. Great coach, fantastic coach, top 15 all time. You know, all of that is good and fair. I don't know what the philosophy or like what the attention kind of was tonight with regards to the defensive schemes and the principles. And I think what you saw in the second half was a lot of what was open and just wasn't falling in the first start to fall for them. We couldn't shoot for shit. Disagree with Alf a little bit. I think Gabe got you some good minutes in the beginning, but you know he didn't show up and also. But my point is, I think I didn't like Coach Bo's defensive mentality or the scheme today. So I'm gonna say he kicked their ass because it started early and then caught up.
I'm gonna go with Maxi Kleber. That motherfucker. First of all, that dude was everywhere defensively. All of a sudden, he's fucking turned into Reggie Miller from 3. I mean, the guy was all over the place, locking up Jimmy one-on-one. That's usually Jimmy on a big, let's go. And all of a sudden, Maxi Kleber's moving his feet like Bam Adebayo used to in the first half. Long time ago. Long fucking time ago. You know, and at the beginning of the game, I liked the defense. They were basically getting the ball out of Luka's hands, daring other people to shoot, daring other people to make shots. And those guys started, and they were hitting shots, but they were still winning the game because offensively we were still doing things. Second half, we stopped. Nobody hit a fucking shot. Gabe Vincent 0 for 7 from 3. Duncan Robinson 1 for 5 from 3. Max Strus 1 for 3 from 3. I mean, we were 25% from 3 for the night, 7 3-pointers for the game. That is not a recipe for success, especially if we're not locking them up defensively.
It's not, but you have to lock up defensively. Your defense got to travel. Your defense got to go with you.
Yep.
I mean,
but the other part is, let's just be realistic. They're not going to make 15 to 23s a night. Like, shit, we keep saying Jimmy's like this mid-range assassin. They need a couple of folks to learn how to shoot inside that arc. Like, this is literally how they win. Like, you can't win outside. You got to win inside. Somebody else has got to be able to shoot on the opposite side of Jimmy and get the buckets going in, whether it's Kyle, whether it's Bam, Duncan, Max, Gabe. They got to learn how to just shoot from anywhere. They need multiple shooters. Like, we can't just think Jimmy's going to be able to bring it home. He couldn't beat Kleber off the dribble in the fourth. So that means either A, he was tired, or B, he just don't have the burst, which means you need somebody else.
Go ahead.
I think just to back up Tiff a little bit, I do think this is a situation. I know everyone's going to laugh, but this is a situation where you're missing Tyler tonight because he is someone, especially that we've been seeing.
Oh, yeah, you're missing him. But here's the thing, Moose. Here's the thing. Let's call it what it is. I'm not giving nobody no praise because we missing people. You had enough to win. You had enough to get out to a 10-point, 12-point lead.
I'm not trying to make excuses for
No. But I'm just saying, like, they got to learn. There's certain players that you could win without in certain points. Tonight you could win without everybody you were missing. Like, you literally could have won without everyone. That's on them. They just choked it away. That's what they did.
Listen, this was the Goron sweepstakes tonight. You know, so Dallas was trying to play a little harder. You know, they heard that Goron really doesn't give a shit and he doesn't want to go there. So now they want to show him something. But it's not going to work.
He don't want to go to Dallas.
No, he ain't trying to live there.
Nobody want to go to Dallas. Actually, Dallas is kind of nice, but that's a whole nother story. Fuck Dallas for the night. Fuck Mark Cuban too.
Yes.
Moose, where do what is your biggest blame on the Heat side? Where is it? And we're not talking about who wasn't there. Let's talk about who was there tonight, because you should be able to win games without Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin. Like, you should be able to win these games. Like, there was a lot of Highsmith tonight, and I thought he gave them good minutes in the first half, and just like everybody else, he didn't show up in the second.
Yeah, that's fair. Listen, I'm not trying to push back on that. I agree. Let's focus on the guys that are out there tonight. But I don't want to discredit the fact that we were missing 3 of our core bench players in Dedmon, Tyler, and Caleb. That's a lot that you're losing defensively as well. Now, with that being said, we should have won this game. There's a reason we were up in the third quarter. Where I think we lost it is that we started turning over the ball way too much. And Tiff literally just said it. We were stifled on offense. There was nothing happening once they figured out our defense, because I think we did have a good defensive game plan in the first half. We were blitzing like crazy. But once Doncic was able to figure that out, we didn't have another fucking uppercut to hit them back with offensively. We didn't do anything. We were just standing around there. We weren't making any jumpers. There was no movement. So once that happened and they took away the momentum, we didn't have anything until late in the fourth quarter when we were finally getting to the line again.
Tiff, one thing Moose said, they were taking away the 3-point shot. We were shooting them anyway, whether we were covered, even when we were open, just missing wide open threes.
We were 3 for 12 going into the fourth. From 3.
It was bad. Now, the thing is, what Moose is saying, like there wasn't a second effort or second action. Like they actually were doing a little bit in the first half when they were shutting down like the Duncan DHO. He was hitting Bam with that bounce pass rolling to the rim. I have it in my breakdown because it's like I feel like it's a new wrinkle to the offense that should have always been there. The second half, none of that was happening. They shut us down at the 3-point line. They just moved the ball right around the perimeter instead of attacking in the middle. Only the fourth quarter did Jimmy finally start getting into the paint.
And honestly, that don't even count because at about the 4-minute mark, they started playing him for the drive. So he wasn't even getting to the basket anymore because they literally started playing him for the drive. So then you just got the ball basically hot potatoing around the top of the key and nobody's doing anything with it. But these are the things that like I think everybody needs to see and Spo needs to see because we keep saying people aren't here. You're not going to have everybody. Like, let's just get this through our heads for every team. Every player is not going to be available every night. So you got to win with what you got. And if we can't make threes, if we can't hit 15-footers, if we can't box out, those are problems. But the best thing about it is most of that is effort. Like,
yeah,
I didn't see a lot of effort on trying to keep Kleber off the boards. Like you're switching and Gabe is boxing him out. No, that's not gonna work. Awesome. Like that's on Bam and that's on on Yurt. That's on Bam and Yurt. You're leaving Gabe under the basket with Maxi Kleber. That makes no sense to me.
We out-rebounded them by 10, and I don't know how that happened.
And exactly.
But they got offensive rebounds.
Right.
I don't care about our total.
And that was all in the first half, too.
And did you notice the
No, listen to this. I'm agreeing with you guys because I watched the game, and I can't believe we had 15 offensive rebounds to their 12. Like, I don't
feel like
timely, and they got like shots off of theirs. They got points off theirs.
They scored off of it.
So some slight breaking news here. The Heat just signed Javonte Smart to a 2-way.
Oh, I like Javonte Smart.
Okay.
So that's something.
So can I just say what's on everyone's mind? How is this affecting the Dragic situation?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Okay, cool. Okay, now I love it. I love it.
Because they don't have to keep them up, right? They can just.
Well, because they had a 2-way because they signed Caleb.
Right.
Oh, right.
So they were able to do that. The odd thing was the signing Highsmith to a 10-day. So they don't have that extra roster spot. So it's interesting, but again, it doesn't mean they're going to get someone else.
I don't think that affects. Yeah,
it doesn't really affect much. It affects the timing a little bit. So they can't get someone to fill that extra spot earlier than that. Although I do, Brian was saying earlier today that they are able to cut a 10-day player and then Batgirl, and then sign that, and then pay them the remainder of their 10-day contract, and still be able to do them, to get them in early. But I just don't. With the All-Star break coming, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference.
I don't think the Heat are trying to get anybody in here with one game before the break, anyways. No. Like I think they want to make this decision over the All-Star break and just let things play out.
Bon, I know you got takes. I'm not even going to ask you a question. Just what was your overall opinion of the game? Give her the rant music.
No, don't give
I
me
have a
the
question,
rant.
technically.
I agree with everyone's points offensively. I think that they did get stagnant. I don't know that they were super like fluid and extra, movement centered in the beginning. It's just that different people were being the aggressive one, right? We started off with Bam as the aggressor, and then the game got deeper, and then Jimmy kind of took command. And I think, shout out to Jack. I feel like this is a game that Jack would have been upset about, like the fact that um, when Jimmy has to get going, or the way that things look when Jimmy gets going is very it's like it's a hindrance, kind of to the rest of what Miami wants to do offensively. But there were times where they didn't even look like they were trying to do anything else as they do. Jimmy post up, mid post, and then whatever, they didn't get any motion off of that. I don't know. I really am not a fan of the defensive philosophy that you dare these other NBA shooters to make open shots, right? Like, I personally would rather, Luka give you his 37 or whatever, and you win the game. Luka with 40 doesn't necessarily beat you, but Luka with 40 and like 12 to 16 assists, I think does. And we dare dudes to make shots. Like, dudes aren't, NBA players paid to make shots. So I think they did, and I'm just not a fan of the incessant doubling. We hadn't seen that in a while. And so to see it so much tonight was very jarring, and like, why are we doing this again? I thought we were doing, other stuff, but I don't know, maybe tinkering, maybe trying to figure stuff out. But I didn't like the defensive approach tonight. And the defense has to be the thing that holds you down when your offensive goes through the stagnancy that it's going to go through, because you've seen your offense all season.
Shmita says the insurrectionists started getting arrested and Jack goes MIA. Very interesting. Very interesting. One thing,
you can neither confirm nor deny.
One thing I'll say about Jimmy, and it does get frustrating when he's holding the ball. They lost that lead when Jimmy went to the bench, and these guys Bam had all the free time in the world to be aggressive. Lowry, all these guys, they had a chance to score when Jimmy went to the bench. That lead, they lost the lead, and then they gave the lead, and the lead expanded while Jimmy was out. They only started making it up when Jimmy came back in. Yeah. So, I do sometimes, I think we've all agreed that sometimes Jimmy's style of play takes away from other players. But when he's on the bench, Bam can't use that excuse no more. You know what I mean?
Can't put that on anybody else.
It can't. And
I got to see what they look like defensively during that too. Not to just say that like they lost the lead solely from an offensive standpoint from Jimmy's off. I understand they started
scored
making
19
the charge
points in the third quarter.
Well,
21 in the fourth. They only scored 40 points in the second half. Defensively, they weren't great, but 107 points in today's NBA, you can win that game. Yeah. Like, that's a winnable game. Yes. They only had one. Dallas only had one quarter where they scored 30 points. Everything else, 26, 28, 24. Like, they held them in check defensively. That third quarter wasn't abysmal, and it wasn't. To me, they had enough. These other guys, they had enough time without Jimmy on the floor to be aggressive, and they just weren't. Like, guys just didn't come through. And then you have Captain Save him, like calls him, and then
the bench ain't coming. They might not come through for another week or two. You know that, right? Like, they might just literally not show up the next 5 games,
and that's
they have. But they have
Lowry, Bam, and Duncan got to do something.
Exactly, like, because they have no rhythm. Like, everybody's yelling for Max to do something. Max he's used to getting 15 shots a game. He's not used to playing for 6 whole minutes and getting 1 shot. Mm-hmm. Going to the bench, coming back for another 4 minutes, not getting a shot, coming back for another 2 minutes, getting 1 shot. Like, there's no way he's going to have a rhythm. And, he shoots that thing, but he looks out of place right now. Like, he looks like he has no idea what he's doing.
Feels out of place. Yeah.
He's got to adjust now to that new rhythm, basically.
But it also goes to what we all agreed upon. We're about to have some ugly losses because the offense is not clicking yet. And whatever Spo's doing, and I hope he in the kitchen, because they got to figure out a way to also get Jimmy cooking without Jimmy holding the ball. Like there's so many other ways Jimmy can give you a quick 6 points without having to stand, pivot, look around, wait for somebody to clear. Like all of that is too much happening and he's just holding the ball. Like there's so many other things happening and yet nothing's happening.
And to that point, Tiff, I hope they do it early too. I'm tired of seeing Jimmy get going later in the game. I'd like to get some of that get that shit going right from the jump.
That part's on him. He wants them to get going starting out. But I think someone tweeted out earlier like a clip of how they're able to use Jimmy in kind of that mid-post area and still have other things happening on the other side. And yeah, that's the key. Like that's what has to happen. And I'm gonna have to go back and see like offensively where it really like got, specifically like where it got muddy. Because I think that they had figured something like the way that Bam had been playing these last like 6-7 games. Like they have pieces, like they have some of it there. Like I don't understand. I have to go. I was just so disgusted with the defense. I'd have to like go back and actually see what was happening offense. Like why
you were discussing the defense. Watch the offense.
But also that's not something that surprises me, right? Jimmy is still who he is. He's still going to get the buckets the way that he does. Alf, you said it yourself, like when we were going through that stretch without Jimmy and Bam, and it was like Kyle and others, that it was, and I'm not saying that we're going to have to rely on them to give us, games and games and games, but like you were talking about how, they got through that stretch with them shooting damn near historic numbers. Like that's not something that can be banked on to Tiff's point. So they do have to figure it out soon.
But I will say now that they've had their guys back, they've been winning with 12, 13 3-pointers. Yeah. It was nothing historic. You hit 7. I mean, you hit 13 3-pointers tonight. It's a game. You can't miss that many open threes. It was just it was the whole team can't be cold. Like one of the white guys got to show up. One of them.
Yep.
And you only had 2.
Right.
Speaking of white people, it's Black History Month.
Oh no.
Segue.
I'm one of the best at transitions. I mean, every single fucking time. And if you didn't know, the Winter Olympics are on. Why would you know? I have no fucking idea because ain't nobody talking about it. But since the Winter Olympics are on right now, we decided to go black in time and find an historic Black Winter Olympics moment. There are none. So we found a Summer Olympics moment.
Find a historic black person in the snow or something.
No, we couldn't find any.
No, it had nothing to do with winter.
We couldn't find it because we're not doing the Cool Runnings bit.
You are good at transitions.
I'm the best.
This went so off the rails.
I'm the best.
So let's go black in time and look at a great Black Olympic moment.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Looking black in time.
On October 16th, 1968, at the Summer Olympics in Mexico City, Tommy Smith and John Carlos won gold and bronze medals in the 200-meter race. During their medal ceremony, they each raised a black-gloved fist as the Star-Spangled Banner began. The gesture was in protest of the treatment of black Americans during the civil rights unrest of the 1960s. Oddly, fans of the rarely mentioned fourth-place finisher dropped confetti from the stands and shouted "Bing Bong" in the streets.
This was another edition of Looking Black in Time.
Another one.
Another one.
I'm sorry, that was really good.
Knicks fans been celebrating mediocrity.
I love history.
Decades.
I love history.
Always learning new things in this.
Big
So
fan.
much
Me and
fat.
Darren Ravel. We love it.
Many truths.
Want to play again?
Yeah, why
Do
not?
it one more.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Looking black in time.
On October 16th, 1968, at the Summer Olympics in Mexico City, Tommy Smith and John Carlos won gold and bronze medals in the 200-meter race. During their medal ceremony, they each raised a black-gloved fist as the Star-Spangled Banner began. The gesture was in protest of the treatment of black Americans during the civil rights unrest of the 1960s. Oddly, fans of the rarely mentioned fourth-place finisher dropped confetti from the stands and shouted "Bing Bong" in the streets.
This was another edition of Looking Black in Time.
I'm not sure why he wasn't wearing a USA jersey, but
Right.
we need to have a disclaimer that there may be some historical inaccuracies.
It's probably too late. Too late.
Maybe.
This
Damage is
I
done.
don't know. I think this is pretty. This is like straight out of the books.
That's how they taught me.
That's how we
I got it straight off of Wikipedia, so
I'm pretty sure though that
1968.
the Hangover Time history lessons will not be taught in Florida high schools, unfortunately.
Oh no, they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. Brad Stevens looked nervous up there.
Sweating.
I mean, meanwhile, the last Knicks championship was 5 years after that, by the way.
Oh, wow. No
Delicious.
wonder they were so excited. Earl the Pearl. Let's go next to Bond's breakdown to find out what the hell went wrong tonight.
Oh, hold up. Let me break it down so it can forever and consistently be broke.
So I have a bunch. I'm gonna try to go quickly. It's just all the defense though. Go ahead, Brass. So pause. Right. So we're talking about them in the double team, and what's happening is the different ways that Luka's getting into the paint and how that's causing them to shrink the defense. So go ahead. Bam switches out. Pause. Kyle took this cutter. He took him through. This dude's here at the dunker spot. Bam's on Luka. Bam lets Luka penetrate a bit. Go ahead. Kyle comes over from the corner. Kick out. Nothing else happened. They get other motion. They didn't get a three off of that, but just the concept, right? Go ahead. What's happening here? Same thing. Okay, so pause, right? So Luka cuts or play it again. Luka goes to penetrate, and this time he's not going middle. He goes kind of to the baseline. Pause. When you go to double, depending on the direction that the ball handler is coming from, the way that you double, the angle that you come from the double, it kind of matters. So if he's going baseline and you're doubling off of this top side like PJ is, that next pass immediate. Go ahead. That's there. Jimmy goes there, right, as he's supposed to do, because that's where that next pass is going to go. So then that second player cuts. Go ahead. Just like all of the different spots on the floor. That one was quick. We can do that again. Again, pause. Luka attacking, getting into the middle. Again, you're coming from the middle. Kyle is checking down from the opposite wing. That's where that next pass is going. Go ahead. I don't know if Dorian missed this one. Dorian hit one or a couple late. Go ahead. Just same thing. They get the switch. Luka gets dunking on him. Pause. Luka gets dunking on him. Go ahead. And now Luka goes straight down the pause. Luka goes straight down the middle of the floor. Kyle trying to be slick, tries to do the double from behind, which makes sense. He sneak up on him, kind of get in his blind spot. Go ahead. This wing player does what he's supposed to do, spaces Jimmy out enough. Kick, penetrate, kick. Just having to scramble and just rotate all the time because of these doubles. Go ahead. Same thing. Jimmy's going to come over here to double kind of for no reason from the top side, from the high, like from the immediate next pass, bounces in. Go ahead. Here, though, and this is the last one. Here, though, is how I think that you can maybe pause. It's how I think that you can maybe soften it a bit. So PJ is coming not necessarily to commit to the double, but just to kind of give cushion and show Luka that there is someone else to be worried about, but he's not committed to it. Jimmy right here on this wing is not committing to this dig. He's stunning, right? He's giving this right foot, and he's going to get back to his. Go ahead. PJ still hasn't come over, given space, reacts again, even on his step back up, doesn't come all the way up, and gets back. And here they were able to kind of rotate. And yeah, they got good ball movement.
Offensive rebound.
That
offensive rebound is what killed it. Yeah,
it did. Yeah, rebound killed. You have to rebound after the possession, and they were able to. Yeah, they worked the ball around the perimeter, but the ball didn't get inside. Like it didn't. You can take me out. It didn't cause that kind of like suction of the defense. The defense is kind of like a bubble. Like if you like slice a bubble down the middle without it popping, it kind of just like splits into two. Whereas if you like rotate kind of around the perimeter, you allow the bubble to kind of just spin on the knife edge without, kind of compromising the shape. I'm just not a fan of that philosophy of just daring other dudes to make shots all night long. And then momentum and energy and then all of that stuff kind of comes into play.
I think they panicked every time they got Duncan on the switch with Luka. And that's where you saw a lot of that overhelping. And part of that is
let him go.
Let Duncan. Duncan is at least tall. He got a good wingspan.
Lanky.
At least you gotta at some point they're gonna have to let him. If you're on the floor, you gotta let them have the opportunity to defend because you gotta play. Well, you go too big,
like he was and could have, but you didn't.
But the thing is, if you're not going too big, then you're gonna have to let Duncan play. You're paying him, he's starting, let him play. Cause you running out there and like waving your arms and looking all frantic, you're leaving people wide open under the basket every single time.
Yeah, and the other thing is when Luka left the floor, the Mavs increased their lead, and that's if you're gonna have this philosophy, we're gonna shut down Luka, right? And then Luka leaves the floor, and you don't know what the fuck to do on defense now.
Decide not to shut down anybody.
Yeah. All right, we got him, guys. Good job. All right,
we got him.
Because it goes back to what we just said. If you're gonna say everybody else beat us, these dudes already hot by the time Luka sit down.
Exactly.
Right.
So now you just played in my face for 6 minutes. I'm warm.
Right.
Fuck you. That's rude.
Brunson and Kleber led the team in plus minus tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the guys killing you, and those guys did a lot of their work when Luka was on the bench.
Yep.
Most of it when Luka was on the bench.
And then and listen, I don't want to I'm not because everybody was pretty bad, but like those minutes with Max and Yurt out there. And Brunson and Kleber are killing you. Davis Bertans is out there murdering you. Like those Yurt and Strus minutes were rough. And then you gotta hope Dedmon would be better. But you can't do that kind of. You can't have that defensive mentality against Luka. He goes to the bench and their bench just burns your ass. Like our guys got to step up as well. And yes, I know there were Highsmith minutes, but Highsmith wasn't the one out there fucking up.
Listen, it is what it is. This loss, we just keep naming folks, but like this is on Jimmy, Bam, and Kyle. Yeah. This loss is on them. Like you're the leaders. You're the leaders. Is your team between those three and Spo? That's on y'all.
It's on who else?
I would say Bam, Duncan, and Kyle wasn't good either. And Pete.
Nah, y'all. I don't understand how y'all think Jimmy was that good. Jimmy wasn't actually that good tonight at all.
If you something, he was shaking something.
His getting to the line at the fourth quarter, and PJ as well. Tiff, we even talked about it that those free throws there in the fourth quarter was the only thing that kind of swung a little bit of momentum back our way. But I mean,
but it was too late at that point.
Exactly. It was way too late. And I think like we already talked about it earlier. It's like I said, who killed us tonight was halftime. That's it.
Gabe was diamond in the beginning of the game. Like I need to really see what.
Right. So stop at halftime. Like, Gabe would have been
great. I don't know if they stopped running the pick and rolls. If they stopped like trying to do the shit that was working.
We just look clunky
on that roll.
He found Bam on the roll. He had that real nice skip to the corner that whoever missed. Yeah, it was clunky.
They just got to figure it out. They look clunky. Even in the wins, they are clunky. They are. So those three got to get together with the coaching staff, and they got to figure out because your turn, my turn, that don't work. Like
And-
the
and-
offense, they need to create a flow, whereas everybody can get their offense. They need to just create a flow where everybody, because you got those three tonight. There's no reason to lose. It's just gonna look clunky, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if, what is it, Thursday, if it looked the same way, because they just don't have enough. They don't have enough time.
Not
Like
enough time together, and not enough like competitive minutes. Like today's fourth quarter, like where they're hungry and in the game.
Yeah.
They don't have minutes like that together. They've only been together for like 17 games.
So they
in
they
those
need
17
to like
games. It was a blowout.
And sadly, if I'm coaching, you're probably gonna see less and less of the bench right now, which is also kind of scary because you need them, but you need that starting five to click.
You need your 9-man rotation, whoever is going to be.
I don't give a fuck
up.
about 6 through 9. To be honest, I don't
yeah,
care about
you gotta
6
get
through
one
9. That five is they got to start playing some heavy minutes, which is scary.
Closing five, got you.
Yep.
Like your
Or your
closing five,
closing
you
five.
need to have it together.
Well, I think one of your closers ain't even playing yet, but I think I think
agree.
Depot's going to be in that closing five.
We'll see. I hope so. I hope so.
Oh
If
no,
Gabe was
you
there
know,
today-
ain't no hope. So ain't no. I think if he can walk,
Yeah.
He's going to be in that closing five.
yeah,
Love you,
because we
Gabe.
saw what he did on one leg.
Yeah, and I do like Gabe in that closing five as a placeholder until Depot can get there, right? You know, and then there's some situational stuff where probably Hero might come in offense and blah blah blah, but I think Depot's strong enough as an offensive player to you don't take him out the last 3-4 minutes of the game, especially if it's close. You got a 5-point lead, I'm clamping everybody.
And it's the defense that you like sorely know you're gonna.
And if I need to get to the bucket, like if we're in bonus situation, Vic, get to the line. Like I'm leaving him there over Tyler in that spot too. So
get downhill and go.
Get downhill. We need free throws.
They'll figure it out or they won't. But I'm hoping they figure it out.
I think they do.
I still think they're going to figure it out. You know, like we said a million times, Depot is coming back soon, and you look at how he was able to transform this team last year with just those 4 games played, and you're taking a 1 seed, at least temporarily, and you could potentially be adding Victor Oladipo to that 1 seed and Javonte Smart. Don't sleep on Smart.
Oh, yeah. Y'all remember that dunk Depot had last year?
Mm-hmm. And then after that,
the only thing he did before being injured.
No, remember he locked up Steph Curry in the corner.
Steph in jail.
Yeah.
Same game, I think.
Steph was playing pity pat with the ball.
He had Steph in a puppy gate.
God, you remember our defensive issues last season? Oof, like consistent defensive issues.
And he started getting downhill.
Shit.
Like, when he stopped turning it over and like bouncing it off his knee.
But like, you know, we're hard on the team right now. Yeah, they've had a couple bad outings, a couple close losses here.
But never forget.
But like,
Quarantine.
It's true. But this team is so much better than it was last year. It's
they're way better than they were last year.
So much better.
Oh, it's a night and day. Night and day.
And they and you look around the East today. The frustrating thing is today they could have gained some space on some teams, and they did not.
Like
you know,
interesting.
Those are always their losses, right? It's like they lose, and then the Bucks also lost, and then Brooklyn also lost. I'm like, damn, when?
Sometimes you gotta get a little lucky. I'll tell you who didn't lose tonight though was the Celtics.
Man, yo,
telling y'all they coming, but
they fit.
Damn.
They coming.
No.
I got
it's been a while now, Bon.
Yeah,
they're hot.
No, but when I mean they coming, I mean they're creeping up.
Yes.
In the that's what I'm talking in the standings. I'm talking about they making real moves in the standings.
They've been one of the best teams in the NBA.
Yep.
So, and I got cooked on the timeline when I was like, I'm putting them up there with everybody in the East in that conversation. Because I'm not talking about the first 2 months of the season where they had all that, they're having players meetings, they can't get on the same fucking page. Ever since then,
they're on the same page
January 1st till now,
looks like they're reading just fine.
Oh, they're blowing the doors off of everybody, including us. By the way,
you know, fucking Brad Stevens is pounding that fucking table during Black History Month. You know that.